What's up, SNU? My name is Mike Vero with The Echo, and I'm out here talking to you, the SNU student body, about what you guys think about Christian movies. So what are some of your favorite Christian movies?
Well, I like the Chronicles of Narnia series, which is based off of the books, which I think the books are what makes it great. And then I like To Save a Life. It was kind of like poor quality, but what I liked about it was that it was very real situations that like people do go through, and like how from a Christian standpoint you kind of view those situations, which isn't really seen in common media today.
Do you like Christian movies in general?
Yeah.
Which ones have you seen that you liked?
Prince of Egypt. I like how Moses, he was abandoned in that little basket, but then, you'd think he'd be like alone, and his life kind of sucks because he's in a basket in a river and his mom just left him like that. But then God was like, dude, I have your back. And it's like, oh, look, you're going to be royalty now. And it's cool.
The Jesus movie was a good one.
The one from the 70s?
Yes, that one was probably one of my favorite ones because it was the first Christian movie that I'd watched. And I was like, hey, that's really cool. And plus I was like super, super little. I was probably like 10 or 11 years old. So
Facing the Giants for sure.
Yeah, the football one?
The football one.
I think one of them is the movie Mid-Range. Most people probably haven't heard about it, but it's a movie about a college basketball player who's trying to make it into the pros, but he learns that the way he's going to get there is through God, and then not just his game but his faith starts growing through God.
The movie Believe Me dives into the complexities around how Christians often base a lot of what they believe and their decisions that they make about in life on feelings and emotions and things that aren't concrete.
I think the last Christian movie I saw was like Fireproof or something.
And was that one of the ones that you thought was really corny?
It was really corny. If I tried to remove myself from that being offensive to my spirit, then it was probably a good movie. But, it depends on what your standards are.
I like that there are Christian movies, I would say.
But you don't like what actually comes out in the viewing experience?
I think a lot of times what they're trying to say can be skewed, and I think sometimes they just end up a little silly.
I would say the acting's pretty cheesy. That's the first thing that really comes to my attention is the acting. I feel like they could write some scripts a little bit differently too. I get their point, so I understand it, but it's just there's something off, and there's a lot of things off. But
I don't think that they have great actors that get involved in the project, and they don't have great production companies behind the project, and they always turn out to be cheesy and just not really interesting.
Probably the poor quality kind of makes them a little bit humorous, which maybe shouldn't be so for a Christian movie,
How do you feel about the fact that there are just so many Christian movies? Have you noticed that in the last 3 years there have been so many more Christian movies in theaters than before?
If I was thinking that, I think that people's faith is just growing more consistently, just learning that they're going to find themselves through God and through nothing else at all.
I like that the idea that God's not dead, and that was shared through social media, that I had known about the movie way before it even came out because that line that everyone shared. And so I really liked that we came together and all posted it everywhere and said it everywhere and played that song over and over again. And I thought that was really cool. So it wasn't necessarily the movie, but I liked what came out of it.
I think it's because Christian movies have a mission that they're pursuing, and they're putting these movies out there for one reason, and that's to get one message across. And I feel like with other movies like Wes Anderson, he's putting his movie out there, and it's you can take whatever you want from this. I don't care exactly what that is, just as long as you're taking something from it.
They don't seem to dive into concrete issues. And I mean, there is a level of joy with being a Christian. There's a level of with safety that we do, have in a life of living for God, but it doesn't mean that everything's going to be perfect or everything's going to work out or that we're going to convert everybody that we come across. And so I don't think that a lot of Christian movies dive into those issues or really understand the complexities of what it really means to be a Christian and to live the faith.